Albinism is actually a skin condition. It's lack of pigmentation on the skin. So it's nothing contagious. It's not something that you touch the skin and then you're going to get albinism yourself. Hello? Sure. Sure. In Tanzania, you have this added horrible risk for people with albinism that they are going to be attacked. It is a very serious problem here. It's very brutal. The main purpose is to hack off body parts with no regard whatsoever for the life of the people attacked. People with albinism have many challenges as it is. I think the biggest ones is that the lack of pigmentation impacts on their eyesight, so they're almost blind. In addition, lack of pigmentation also prevents protection of the skin against the sun. So most people with albinism, especially if they're far away from medical support, actually die of skin cancer. Children are particularly at risk because they're children. They're small, they can't protect themselves. Children with albinism look different, they stand out. A lot of myths have come up around these children. People with albinism are sometimes referred to as ghost people. They're believed to have special magical powers. And witch doctors have taken advantage of some of those beliefs and myths and created an industry around the selling of body parts and basically claiming that body parts from people with albinism have magical powers that's going to bring you wealth and success. And these body parts go for a lot of money, $600 for a small piece of a body part, up to $75,000 for a whole body. So you can imagine how much money witch doctors are making out of this. That albinism is a skin condition. It's something that you're born with, it's hereditary, it means lack of pigmentation in your skin. So it's not something that is in any way unusual to Tanzania. You find it all over the world. It's not contagious. You can't touch somebody and get albinism. It's just a condition that people are born with. UNICEF is supporting the centers, improving security, improving supplies, including food and bedding and a lot of things that they need. And also improving infrastructure around water and sanitation, for example. These shelters are not in good condition. It's not at all an ideal solution for these children. Many of the children get separated from family and community and find that they stay in the center for years and years without coming back to their family. And as the attacks are increasing, more and more children and adults are coming to these centers. The government of Tanzania has turned these, in a sense they were meant to be disability schools, but they're now using them as centers for children with disability, but also for children with albinism and adults with albinism as well. In the short term, and given the risks that are going on right now, it's prudent to keep the children there and make sure that they are safe. So that's UNICEF's immediate and short-term response. The more sustainable programming that we're doing on violence against children, including children with albinism, is to strengthen the child protection system all the way down to the community level. Addressing social norms is not easy because people's beliefs date back often generations and are built around a lot of beliefs and traditions and the culture within your community. It's really important to educate people about people with albinism. They're just people like you and me. There's no magical powers with these people, and to put a stop to this horrendous practice.
Tatizo la kukata mkono nilikuta 2011 mwezi wa 11 tarehe 27 usiku saa 7. Nilikuwa na miaka 15. Leo hii na miaka 21. Walikuwa watu watano walipoingia chumbani kwetu, wakatumulika tochi kwa sababu kwetu hamna umeme. Wakamulika tochi, wakaniona mimi. Walikata mkono wangu mmoja, wakaondoka nao. Hebu jiulize, chukua wewe jikate mwenyewe uone maumivu unapoumia. Yaani kidole kimoja tu. Hata unajikwepa tu unakata hata kitunguu jikate mwenyewe. Uone unapoumia. Kumbuka kabisa mtu aje akukate na kukate kabisa mapanga unajiona hivi kabisa live. Yaani jamii, yaani hao watu. Mimi mwenyewe nilimuuliza babangu, kwa nini babangu mimi niko tofauti? Kama mimi mbona ilikuwa mweupe? Mbona familia yetu wote weusi ni mtu mwenyewe? Kaniambia, hamna, alikuwa ni babu yako mnafanana naye alikuwa mweupe. Kajaga sasa kufariki zamani ndio sasa ukazaliwa hivi. Jamii ilikuwa inatuzunguka. Walikuwa wanachukulia tu kama ni mtu wa kawaida. Yaani kama hivi vitendo tunapotendewa sisi kama walemavu wa ngozi. Tunasikia huko, tunasikia huko Geita, anakatwa mtu, anakatwa miguu, mikono, mpaka mama yake akamkatakata mapanga. Sasa kama hilo sisi jamii tunalichukulia kama ni jamii watusaidie sisi tuweze kuishi kwa ulinzi mzuri kama wanapoishi wenzetu. Nyumbani nilikuwa naishi na babangu na mamangu na dada zangu. Mamangu kwanza mwenyewe nikimwona mwenyewe nitafurahi kwa sababu mamangu nimemisi mno. Hata na wadogo zangu wote na dada zangu. Niliacha kuonana nao 2012. Napenda sana kuishi na mamangu kwa sababu mamangu alikuwa ananifanyia kila kitu kila kitu nikihitaji ananifanyia. Kila mahali ninapoenda nami, anapokaa na mimi. Ila moyo wangu unaogopa. Kwa sababu tutaenda tena kunishambulia. Mimi shule sijasoma, babangu mwenyewe alikuwa anasema huyu nikimpeleka shule atakuwa anateseka jua kwa sababu hata kofia. Wale wananibakiza hapo nyumbani na nawapikia, nafanyia kila kitu, naosha vyombo, nafulia nguo. Wadogo zangu wanapoenda shule nawaandalia chakula, nafulia nguo, kila kitu. Mimi nilikuwa ni wa nyumbani tu basi. Walinisaidia kunisomesha ndandesem sana. Mpaka nikamaliza chuo cha ufundi. Kama unapoona hapa nimejifunza ujuzi wa kufuma sweta. Kama sasa hivi mimi mimi naweza kufuma na mkono mmoja. Watu wanadanganyika tu eti sisi wakitukata mikono sisi tutapata utajiri. Kama sisi tulikuwa tuna pesa, sisi tukianzia wenyewe tukokuwa matajiri kwanza ndio wenyewe wakafuata.
There's around 35,000 people living with albinism in the country, and since the year 2000 we've seen several hundreds attacks as well as 75 people having been killed. In the last 3 months we've had 2 people killed already, a child of 4 and a child of 1 that was also dismembered. The arms and legs were chopped off. We're trying to promote the integration of people living with albinism in Tanzanian society. This means working with the media, community leaders, local government, even national government, to ensure that the rights of people with albinism are respected, that communities understand that they're Tanzanians just like anybody else. We're actually focusing on 3 Ps: protecting, preventing, and prosecuting. We're working with national authorities, local government, the police force, the courts, to ensure that if we find people that have been accused of perpetrating crimes against people with albinism, that the full extent of the law can be used to address that crime. And of course, we hope that this will be a deterrent for other people that may think that this is something they may want to engage in. Well, there are many challenges because the real issue is that people living with albinism, while they're concentrated around what we call the lake region in the northwest, they actually spread out across the country. So it is not easy to actually reach them. We really must work with the communities and the local government in the areas in which they live. Access is a big challenge. The other challenge, of course, particularly when it comes to promoting the rule of law, is that we know that when crimes have taken place, collecting evidence and finding the right types of witnesses has been a challenge here. There's fear in the communities. There is a feeling that maybe the killings against people with albinism are actually part of an organized crime, and syndicates are involved. So that makes it much more difficult to investigate, find the right evidence, try the case, and then prosecute the perpetrators. This is especially so because we've also found some instances in which family members have been involved. And this makes it all the more difficult because it means particularly the children need psychosocial support, and the whole family, of course, needs to move into a situation in which they will have to live knowing that maybe one of their family members was involved in the crime.
Mfumo wa utawala moja kwa moja uliwalazimisha wananchi kutii mila za kigeni na wadharau mila za Kiafrika.
Unamsikia huyu? Kwa nini situmia lenzi wakati unayo alafu unasoma lakini nakusomea mfumo nani sifa ya tatu.
Wanafanya vitendo hivyo, yani tunahitaji wachukue hatua kali, na vilevile tabia hizo waziache, maanake vingi vitu sisi havina faida yote kwao na havina utajiri aina yoyote, maanake sisi wenyewe ni binadamu kama wao, na wanavyofanyia hivyo tunakosa raha, tunakuwa tuna amani muda wote. Najua na tuko sawa kwa pamoja na wenzetu, lakini Mungu mwenyewe anatusaidia mpaka sasa tuko hapa. Kimaliza shule kwa mwanasheria. Kutetea haki za walemavu.
Nilifundisha zamani kama ni mjane, ila sasa hivi niko manispaa ya Ilala.
We have advocacy campaign through the media, that is print and electronic media. And what we are doing is understanding albinism campaign, because we know quite a lot of people in Tanzania and in other African countries do not understand what albinism is. So for them to understand what albinism is, we think that it will demystify the myths surrounding albinism. The safe house is for persons with albinism who were mutilated or who are running from their villages because of the atrocities. And they cannot go back to their villages, they cannot live in their villages because they're afraid of being either killed or attacked. And so people like Hulwa find refuge in the safe house.